I thought of something the other day. So many times, we've all heard that cliche that, instead of ready, aim, and fire, it's fire and then ready and aim. So let's do it, ready, aim, fire. So just to ready ourselves, let's just ground our body. Feet shoulder width. Just kind of rock forward and backward, maybe side to side, and notice, the 3 points of your foot. Just kind of get settled and grounded. Feel like you're really a part of the ground. Soften your knees, bend your knees, just relax down. Let's ground down. Check your hips, see if they're neutral, either forward or backward. Just let your arms hang naturally at your sides. Maybe wiggle just a little bit. Have your fingertips feel like they're being pulled to the ground. Now at the same time, let's imagine something lifting us from the crown of our head, just suspended, a gentle tug upward. Almost, you might channel a flower that's being pulled towards the sun. We've seen those speeded up images as the flower reaches towards the sun, towards the heavens, towards the universe. We're still grounded, we're still rooted. At the same time, we're being lifted up. Now we've finished the ready phase. Let's aim, let's relax. Relax the scalp, soften the forehead. See if you can just let go in the face. Just get heavier in the face, in the neck. Relax the shoulders, soften the upper back, the abdomen. Let that relaxation and softness just melt down through the rest of the body, through the hips, the knees, the ankles. So we're grounded down, we're being lifted up, creating a space in between, a gap. Just to allow intelligence and wisdom to come in. Just be open to the universe, to new thought, to new ideas, to what we already know, to become more aware. Now if you soften your eyes or close your eyes, gently open. And we'll begin some movement. Let's give ourselves a really big hug. Grab opposite shoulders, pull down, and then slowly bring your gaze down to between your feet. Look down, really pulling your shoulders down, giving yourself a nice hug. Now, fixing a point of your gaze between your feet, lift up on your toes. And then slowly come back down, let your heels come back down to the earth. And then let's just rotate our gaze up towards the sky and maybe back, being gentle, hips forward, and then slowly we'll bring our gaze back down, just moving slowly, back down to between our feet. Come up on our toes, slowly lower the heels. And then slowly bring your gaze up one more time. This time, hips forward. Maybe you can extend back just a little bit more. And then slowly bring your gaze back to the horizon. Switch your grip. Whatever hand you've had on top, switch that. Give yourself a really big hug and bring your gaze down between your feet. Come up on your toes. Slowly lower. Bring your gaze upward. Moving slow, and then back. We'll do one more time. We're slowly beginning the fire phase, the ready, aim, fire phase, but maybe we're still aiming. And then back. Bring your gaze back to the horizon. Release your grip. Maybe shake, just let some of that tension go. There's a compression and bind in the upper chest. Let's just let that go now. Release. Now, grab your hands behind interlace your fingers behind your back. Now, take your hands, knuckles down to maybe the side, and the opposite side. Just let your let your ear come towards your shoulder. And then back up, back to center. Same side, one more time. Just let that ear come to the shoulder. Releasing and relaxing. See if you can let go. And notice that even though you think that and then we'll come back to center, we'll do the other side. Even though you think you've relaxed down, if you just really say, let go, there might be just a little more release in the neck. If it's painful, don't do this, but just go slow. Back to center, and one more time. Ear just coming down to the shoulder, letting go, releasing, and relaxing. Back to center, release your grip. Once again, move just a little bit. There's a lot of compression that we've done there. Let's begin a short flow. We'll do a variation of Sun Salute L. So come to the top of your mat, into mountain. Reach up in an upward salute, and then fold forward. This is our first fold. Forward fold. So we'll be gentle. Step back with your right foot. Bring your knee down. Now left hand on top of your knee. Tuck the tailbone. We'll just slowly rock forward. If you want to add some sensation, you can put your fingers on the top of your shoulder and just lift up. Tailbone tuck, slide forward. You feel that in the front of your hip flexors. Now release that. We'll rock back, so you may have to take your front foot forward. And we'll do a hamstring stretch on the left side. This time we'll point our toes and then pull our toes back. So plantar flexion to dorsiflexion. Just rocking back and forth. Slowly moving. You can feel that in the front of your foot, back in the hamstring, back of the calf. Just alternate. Flexing and extending. Now bring the sole of that left foot back to the mat. We'll step forward, back into forward fold. Interlace your hands behind your back. And with your hands interlaced, do a half lift, if you will. Extend the crown of the head forward, the tailbone back. Pull your shoulder blades together. And then we'll do a forward fold. So just let the head drop, let the hands come back over behind the head or behind the back. Just releasing and relaxing once again. Just let go. Now we'll release that grip, swoop the hands up, sit down into a chair pose. If it's comfortable, you can look up towards your hands. And now imagine that we're in cow pose. If we were in tabletop, we'll move to cat. So turn your thumbs down, palms facing out. Tuck your tailbone, grounding your back. Imagine that cat. Now we'll come back to our chair. Slowly stand up. And do the other side. So fold forward, forward fold. Step back with the left. Drop the knee. This time, right hand to the top of the right knee. Tuck the tailbone. We'll stretch the left hip flexors. So just with the tailbone tucked, just gently go forward. Not a back bend, but feel that in the front of the left hip. If you want to add sensation, maybe take that left fingers to the top of the shoulder, just opening. Now plant your hands, maybe extend the right foot forward. We'll stretch the hamstring on the right side, just moving from plantar flexion to dorsiflexion, pointing the toes to pulling the toes back. Moving slow. Just noticing the sensation on the top of that calf. Back of the hamstrings, back of the calf. Now sole the foot back to the ground, plant your hands. We'll step the left foot forward. Interlace your fingers behind your back. Now half lift, shoulder blades come together. Increasing the length from the crown of the head back through the tailbone. Now fold forward, let the hands, arms just drift down, letting go. Release that bind, come up into chair. See if you can look towards your hands. This is your cow, so now we'll do cat. So thumbs down, palms out, tuck the tailbone, around the back, back to your chair, and slowly stand up, back into an upward salute, and then release your hands. Back to your side, back to mountain. Now make your way to the long part of the mat, and we'll maybe sink down into Garland. So just slowly come down, find your Garland. To vary a little bit, maybe you can change the angle of your feet or maybe the width that your feet are placed. Just gently move and rock. Release. This posture, this asana is for release, but let's just imagine that those little muscles, the ligaments, the tendons that are holding, just bring some softness to those. The intent of opening, releasing, relaxing. Now let's release our hands to the mat. Slowly stand up with your feet shoulder width. Now let's do around the world. So making a diamond with our thumb and our index finger, we'll come to the side and then turn that diamond, the palms out, and slowly, just as if you're tracing a circle around your body, to the side, and then up over your head, and then to the other side. Palms facing forward, so we're opening the shoulders. And when you get back to center, palms can be towards the body. Let's go the other direction. Opening out, just going in a nice, slow circle. Noticing the shoulders opening, almost tracing the path of the sun or the moon across the sky. And back to center. Let's step our feet out wider, maybe in a wide leg forward stance. And slowly just come down into your wide leg. Maybe just move whatever it's needed to release some tension in the back of the calves, the back of the hamstrings, back of the thighs. Now, if it's available and your knees and ankles cooperate, let's move from a side lunge on one side, just slowly sinking down. Once again, releasing, relaxing. And then slowly coming up, we'll transition through wide leg forward to the other side, just going slow. Don't worry about how you look. Don't worry about where you're at. Just pay attention to releasing and relaxing. Notice that you may have some guarding, and just respect the body, but at the same time give the body maybe the okay to go ahead and release and relax. Now come back through center, through wide leg forward, back to the first side that we did. Releasing down, just gently letting go. Now one more time, we'll transition through wide leg forward to side lunge on the other side. There's going to be a difference between the sides, maybe, probably. That's okay. Now back to wide leg forward. We'll slowly come up, tucking the tailbone, protecting, back up. Now with your feet a little bit wider than shoulder width, we're going to do something that's basically contract the body. This moves a lot of chi, so let's just be aware, but arms outstretched, shoulder height, palms up. We're going to bring the hands as if they had plates on them, back to the body, and then lowering down, back bend, look up, shoulder blades come together, and then straighten your legs just a little bit, we'll come back up. One more time, sink down into a horse stance. At the same time, those plates come back towards your body. And then slowly uncontract, straighten up. It's kind of like a star pose, only with the palms facing up. Now contract the body, down, and then back up, moving slow. Release, relax your arms at your sides. Know that that one moves a lot of chi. It's okay. It's okay. Let's do one that we've done before. Sway head and shake tail. So horse stance, back to horse stance. It's good to focus so much on the legs, on the quads. Those muscles are big. They have a lot of mitochondria that we need to work on. So let's do sway head, shake tail. So using that bracing, you can turn as if you're backing the car out of the driveway without using the mirrors. And then sway the head down, coming through center, and then bracing with the hand on the opposite knee. Turn around, and we're backing the car, looking the other direction. And then back to center. We'll go around the other way, reverse direction, looking back, slowly letting that head come down. Back up the other side, looking back, and then relax. Fully straighten the legs. We'll bring our hands to our hip creases. And we can continue that same movement of swaying, only we can switch it to where we're facing the sun in either direction. So I'm going to go left first. So I'm going to sway down, and then as I come up to the left. So kind of like a warrior stance. Maybe a warrior one with a back bend. And now I'm going to come down and sway down and transition through. You have to move your ankles and your feet, your orientation to go to the other side. To open and face the sun on this side. Shoulder blades pull together. Long line of energy from the back all the way up and through. Now let's sway down again. Once again, just moving your feet, using those little muscles to reposition. And then we'll end up facing the sun. Other side. Now, one more time, do the last side to balance out. Sway down. Transition through little movements of the feet, the ankles, to make those postural adjustments. And then face the sun on this side, opening up. And then back to center. Slowly come up. Good. Now heel toe your feet back to shoulder width. Good. For our balance posture, I thought we'd do dancing crane. Kind of fun, kind of challenging. So let's channel our crane, channel the crane that's flying and taking us. So lift our wings out, come up on your toes. I'm going to balance on my left, so as I come back down, I'll lift my right foot, first knee up, then toes pointing. And just slowly make a circle around. Pick your drishti, and then dive forward. Sole of the feet towards the heavens, wings back. And bring that foot up and through, flap your wings, land the foot. Onto the other side. Flap your wings, come up on your toes. Back down. Ground on your right foot. Lift your left. Point your toe. Come around. Big circle, big arc, opening the hip. Sole of the foot towards the sky. Wings back. Bring our wings up, our foot back. And settle. Good. Good. All right, let's make our way to our mat, to tabletop. So that's the standing phase of our practice. So now we'll move to the mat, to tabletop. And I guess this day is about release because we're going to do frog, but we'll come into it gradually. And I literally have never met anybody that enjoys doing frog. And yet it's a wonderful posture to, really test and move the ligaments and tendons around that hip area. So much, so much of our health, our well-being comes from the root chakra, from the perineum, from that, even the abdomen uses that as part of our respiration. So let's just come into frog by having our knees wide, but maybe it's like a wide-legged child's pose. We can work on puppy as well. So just extend forward, letting your chest come to the mat. Just releasing and relaxing. You can have your fingertips come up for puppy if that works for you. If not, just focus on seeing if you can let those shoulders relax so your chest can come more closely to the mat. Now we'll take the next step of frog and maybe 12, 18 inches between your toes. You can move your toes wider. If it's comfortable, you can take your knees wider as well. So we're not in frog yet, per se, but we're just transitioning there. Once again, arms out in front for more puppy. Releasing and relaxing. If you can bring the attention of some softness to the shoulders and to the hips. Now one more final stage. Go ahead and take your ankles to where they are behind your knees. Arms out front again in puppy. So it's frog. With all the sensations and potential emotions that go with frog, and it's okay. Nobody likes frog. But frog likes you. Okay, let's finish that. So bring your arms and hands back to contract. Rock your hips forward. Bring your toes closer or to touch, depending on your body. Knees back in a little bit, then to touch. We can rock back. Just notice the difference in the sensation, the quads and the hips. Good. Now let's come back to tabletop, and I wanted to maybe give more of an opportunity for release. First, let's just do a couple cat and cow, just to gently release. Maybe rock to side, whatever your spine feels like it needs at this time. Side to side, in big circles, a little cat, a little cow, a little something in between that you'll call something else. And open our shoulders. Take your hands pretty wide, your fingers facing away from you. So you're going to be like this on the mat. So the fingers are facing in the way. So you're probably going to be, well, we'll just try it. Depending. It's easier to have your hands be wider, but see if you can release and relax. Shift your weight to one side and dip your shoulder down to the mat. And the first time you do this, you'll think, I cannot do this. This is scary, this is tricky. But see if you can just let your shoulder come to the mat. It's easier to take your hands wider, so if you need to, take your hands wider. You just alternate between dipping those shoulders to the mat. Have your ear come down to the mat, so you're switching your gaze. Side to side, just slowly dipping that shoulder. And when you feel like you're complete, if you did do that and it felt scary and you went ahead and did it anyway and realized that you're fine, congratulations. It works. Our bodies are capable of so much more than what we give them credit for. So let's thread the needles. You don't have to move one hand position. You can just thread the needle. Arm tucking through and over. Release that shoulder to the mat. Now bring that hand, after you unthread, back to where it was, and then we can thread the other direction. So really, once you find a hand position that's comfortable, as far as width goes, you can just keep that. We'll do one more thread on either side. Just moving slow. Almost letting the body re-educate itself to what it can and can't do as it lets go. Now we're back to our splayed position, if you will. You can take one hand to the side and then sink back into your child's pose per a banana, a stretch along the side body. And then back up and back to the splayed position, and then move the hand to the other side, rock back, you're in banana. One more time. And then rock back into child's. You've got a banana going. Last one. Hand over, and then rock back. You're in banana. I'll just come back to tabletop. And for cow face pose, we have to use a lot of internal rotation. So maybe we'll work on that. Just take one foot behind the other, or if you're flexible enough, you can actually bring the other. But I'm rocking back and coming to, since that asana is not really available to me, but I can still work on my internal rotation by crossing my legs over, rocking back, and then just some gentle movements around that hip, noticing little areas of tension or restriction. That's fine. Just notice. And then we'll rock forward. And then switch whichever leg you had in front. We'll switch sides. Cross over and back. Internal rotation of those thigh bones. And then rock back. And once again, little gentle movements, noticing the sensations in both hips. Different spots, but still both hips. Good. Now rock forward. We'll come back to tabletop. No practice would be complete. No yoga practice without down dog. So let's bring your fingers forward just a little bit. Tuck your toes. Lift your hips. Find your down dog. Maybe pedal your feet, or you can alternate between lowering your knees down towards the mat and then straightening them or moving towards straightening. Releasing and relaxing once again. Now, similar to what we do in the 5 Tibetan rites, let's transition through up dog. So we won't untuck our toes. Keep your toes right where they are, but you can move through lower from down dog into plank. And then just keep going by letting the hips come closer to the mat, pushing up with the shoulders, back of the thighs towards the ceiling, gaze forward for an up dog. And once again, we'll slowly transition back through plank, back to down dog. We'll just do 3 of these transitions. So find your down dog. Let your body come down, find plank, and then just keep moving through plank. Letting the hips come closer to the mat, sinking the hips. At the same time, the thighs are towards the sky. Into your up dog. Now lift the hips back into down dog. So last down dog. Sink down, come through plank. This will be our last up dog. Pushing up through the shoulders, lifting up. And then relax. Drop your knees. Make your way to your back. And we'll set up for bridge. Do bridge pose. So soles of the feet to the mat. On bridge, we can do it dynamically. So we can, leading with the tailbone. So the tailbone is the first thing that goes up. So you're really just flattening the back, letting the tailbone come up. Feeling the hip flexors that we worked on earlier. Glutes are contracted. And slowly lower. The last thing down will be the tailbone. So as you do that, you'll notice that first your mid-back contact, then your lower back, finally your pelvis. Then maybe do an arch. So feel that space. And we'll do one more bridge. This time lifting up higher. If you want to, you can interlace your hands, create a bind, opening or closing the shoulders. Release your bind. Back down to the ground. You bring your knees in, give yourself a little hug. Now we'll move to a twist, but we'll do it where it's a clamshell. So let your hips fall to the side, your arms to the same side, so kind of a fetal position. Then leaving your hips and knees and whole lower body where it is, just open up, hand across the body. And then we'll keep it dynamic, so we'll come back across the chest with that hand, back to the clamshell, and then open, using that hand to trace along, over the collarbone, then to the side. See if your shoulder blade can come closer to the mat. Then look to that hand that's moving. Do one more. Just moving slowly. Hips relaxed. Hand coming across the body, opening into a side twist. Now bring your hips back to neutral. To the other side, so let your hips fall to the side. Come into that clamshell. Hips soft and relaxed, the knees. Now just bring that hand across the body. Open up into a T. Back across, back into the clamshell. Moving slow, just tracing along the channels of the arm. Trace along the yin channels across the collarbone, opening up to the side. Soften your upper body. See if the shoulder blade can come back. We'll do one more. Back to clamshell. And then opening out one more time. Release and relax your lower body. Let the upper body just settle. Bring your hips back to neutral. Once again, give your knees a little hug. Maybe rotate the ankles. If it feels good, you can rock on that lower back, the top of the pelvis. Just release and relax. Now rock yourself up. And we'll set up for a reverse table. So, staff pose to start. Hands along your side, fingers facing towards your feet. We'll go slow, lifting the hips. Lift the tailbone first, like we did in bridge. Lift the tailbone. Focus on that tailbone towards the sky, towards the ceiling. And then slowly come back down. If that felt good on the shoulders, you can slightly move the hands further away from the feet. And then once again, leading with that tailbone. Let the tailbone be the first thing up, leading you towards the sky. And then back down. Do one more. Last one. Lift the tailbone. Let the tailbone lead. Hips come up. And then relax, release. Back to the mat. For a forward bend, let's bring the soles of our feet together into cobbler. And I really don't have any expectations for this other than just to release and relax. So see if you can bring the intention of some softness to your lower back. And then reposition your sit bones, how far away your heels are from your body. And then just slowly let go. Whatever movement, little tiny adjustments you need just to let go. There's no position or intent other than release and relax. To take the pressure off of the adrenals and the kidneys back. Just at the intersection of your back ribs in that area, just bring some softness and release to that lower back. Breathing helps, so still belly breathing, abdomen expands on inhales, returns on exhales, just let go. And when you feel complete, and there's no rush because this could be your Savasana, technically, if you wanted it to be. Savasana is any way that you need to find relaxation, integration, just a time to once again release. But make your way to Savasana. whether it's seated or lying. If you're lying after you've gotten comfortable, just notice the parts of your body that are in contact with the earth, that you're grounding with. Notice your breath, your inhales. Your abdomen rises. Exhale, abdomen returns. Just let go. Release and relax and be grounded into the earth. But still a part of your body is pulled up. That flower that we imagined at the first, being pulled up towards the sun, towards the heavens, towards the heat, towards the light. You still have that upward, outward pull, being grounded, yet being tugged out by the universe. That tension creates a spaciousness inside that allows new thought, new energy, new intelligence to enter your body. A lot of times through the awareness of breath, we breathe in new intelligence and information. Exhale that we're done with, that we don't need, that's expired. So I'll be quiet for just a couple minutes and then we'll resume our practice. Now slowly bring awareness back to your breath. Notice your inhales. Notice your exhale. As we slowly transition to seated, maybe bring the soles of your feet to the mat. Extend your arms high, do a nice stretch, roll to your side, transition through a fetal to push your way up and find your seat. Make your way to your seat. If you're seated, you're already there, you're still grounded, you're still lifted up. You're in good shape. For pranayama, I thought we'd try a two-part inhale and then a slow exhale. And then if the two parts are the belly and the chest, so if you want to bring one hand to your belly, one hand to your heart, one hand so we can feel that chest. And we'll breathe in fairly quickly, first through the belly, then through the chest, and then slowly exhale. Exhale out slowly through the chest first, and then the belly. And maybe a quick inhale through the belly, then the chest, and then slowly exhale, first out of the chest, Letting the chest slowly fall. And the belly return. Then inhale through the belly. And then the chest. And then slowly let go. Let that exhale go. Just gently, slowly. First the chest returns. And then the belly returns. Inhale. First belly expands. Then the chest. Slowly let it go. Now just a couple, 3 more on your own. Good. And when you're complete, you can release your hands to the top of your thighs, your knees, whatever is comfortable. And I thought for a meditation we could do a mantra, the Mahamrinjaya, and kind of something to return home to, I guess. So we'll do 3 rounds, and if you know it, you can join. If you don't, it's okay. If I forget, it's okay too. So we begin. Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Andanam Mrityor Mukshya Mamrita Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Andanam Mrityor Mukshya Mamrita Om Triambakam Yajamahe Sugandhi Pushtivardhanam Urvarukamiva Bandhanam Mrityor Mukshya Mamrita. We'll slowly bring our hands together. Generate some chi, some energy, some prana. Your thumbs to your third eye, so we may all think more clearly. To your lips, to your chin, so we can speak and communicate more clearly. And to your heart, that we all feel more deeply. Have trust, openness, love, gratitude, and just utter awe and awareness, thankfulness for the universe. Release your hands. Thanks for joining me for practice.